After having shared a wild night with Scout Saccone, I received a wedding invitation from him the day after. The couple on the cover were leaning against each other. The sight of it pierced my heart. I immediately crushed the tie in my hand into a ball and tossed it into the trash can beside me. Before I could turn around and offer my congratulations, a sharp, playful voice rang in my ears. "Scouttie, take it easy. There's still someone else here." The blood in my veins froze as I stiffly turned around. There I saw Scout walking in with his arm around Maya Walker's slim body. The accessories he wore, weren't they the ones I had painstakingly chosen for his birthday? A bitterness filled my heart, and I couldn't stop the tears from welling up in my eyes. Before Maya, Scouttie was a name that belonged only to me as the Saccone family heir and third in line in the Saccone hierarchy. He wielded enormous influence in the Hair City circle. Everyone else referred to him as Mr. Scout. But I was the exception. After he brought me into the Saccone family, I stubbornly refused to call him Mr. Scout, as our seniority dictated. Despite knowing he was 10 years older than me, I insisted on calling him Scouttie. The entire household staff was terrified of my brazenness back then. Even so, he simply patted my head and said softly, "Call me whatever that makes you happy." To this day, I can still remember the indulgent affection that emanated from his eyes at that moment. That I had attended a few Saccone family banquets with my father in the past and had secretly observed him from afar. Scout was the center of attention at every event at the time. I never thought I would have any connection with him. Then my father jumped from the 23rd floor after his company went bankrupt, and my mother followed by taking pills to end her life. That was how I became an orphan with no home to return to. Seeing me as a girl without parents to protect me, my relatives not only seized all the family assets but also forced me to sign debt notes. They pushed me into an abyss of despair. It was Scout who disregarded everything to rescue me from the hands of those wolves and tigers. He held my bruised and battered body, gently stroked my face and softly comforted me. "Don't be afraid, Nora. I'll take you home." From that moment on, the youngest daughter of the Graham family became Scout Saccone's most precious treasure. That year, he patiently learned from the housekeeper, Evelyn Hall, how to take care of me despite his usual cold and ruthless demeanor toward others. He even ignored the advice of others and arranged my room to be right next to his. When I was tormented by nightmares, he stayed up all night to comfort me. He showered me with an abundance of care and attention. That time, whenever he came across something novel or interesting, he would always bring it to me first. He was the person who dispelled the fear and unease lingering in my heart with his love and care. But all those beautiful moments vanished on that chaotic night like a mirage. Trapped by someone else's scheme, he gave me an intoxicating dream that I couldn't resist sinking into. When the effects of the drug wore off, however, he showed me that the cruelty of the prince of the Hair City circle was no mere rumor. My dreams were shattered piece by piece under his cold gaze and heartless words. "Nora Graham, when did I ever teach you to be so shameless? Your filthy thoughts are as disgusting as you are." He ordered the household staff to throw my belongings into the damp, dark storage room downstairs. Then, he announced his engagement to Maya the very next day. It was only then that I realized he hadn't stayed single all these years because he was focused solely on his career. He simply never wanted to marry me. From that moment on, I could no longer act recklessly or rely on his favoritism. Maya triumphantly moved into the Saccone family mansion, smashing the agarwood diffuser I had prepared to help Scout sleep and dismantling the decorations Scout had set up in my room. While I tossed and turned in heartbreak, unable to sleep, they flaunted their affection for each other right in front of me. That was when I finally made up my mind to contact my aunt, Cindy Jameson, who lived abroad. I then agreed to leave the country to reunite with her. "Nora, I didn't know what had happened to the Graham family back when I was ill. But now that I've found you, I won't let you wander alone anymore. I've never had children in my life, Nora. My only wish is for you to come and keep me company." "Yes, I understand. I'll come," I said to Aunt Cindy. That was only because there was nothing left here worth holding on to. Aunt Cindy had reached out to me a few years ago, hoping I would go abroad to stay with her. But back then, I couldn't bear to leave behind the warmth Scout gave me. Now he found even looking at me repulsive, so staying any longer would only invite more disdain. I suppose leaving was the best choice. Still, I wanted to see him one last time and say goodbye in person before I left. When I went to the study to find him, I saw Maya clinging to Scout. They were busy being intimate and flirtatious. At that moment, my heart skipped a beat with bitterness, and my throat felt dry and constricted. I couldn't bring myself to speak. Just as I was about to turn and leave, Scout noticed me and called out for me to stay. "Nora, Maya wants you to help us decorate our room." I froze for a moment. I smiled bitterly and said, "All right, Mr. Scout." I had never bowed my head so low before. Scout was momentarily stunned. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but before he could speak, Maya interrupted him with a cheerful laugh. "Nora, we haven't finalized the wedding attire yet. Why don't you come with us to take a look? It's no trouble to handle two things at once, don't you think, Scouttie?" I looked at Scout, and my eyes were filled with quiet hope. Nonetheless, he didn't object. Instead, he gazed at Maya with gentle eyes and said, "All right, let her come with us." His cold, commanding gaze left no room for refusal. I knew I couldn't say no, so I simply nodded bitterly. As I lowered my head, I noticed the lavender cufflinks I had made for him still clipped to his sleeve. There was a time when he didn't detest me. I had even believed I was the most special and important person to him. Otherwise, why would he storm into the home of a playboy who harassed me and beat him up to defend my honor? Why would he darken his expression and warn me not to fall for boys when one gave me a love letter? And why, after drinking too much, would he pull me into his arms and repeatedly murmur, "Nora, you're mine. Nora, can you stay with me forever?" Perhaps I had stared too intently because Scout followed my gaze. He tugged off the cufflink and casually tossed it into the trash can. In that instant, it felt as if my heart had plunged into an icy abyss.